Hey folks, it's Brian again. Weird World War II. Getting some painting in. Thought I'd see if anybody's around. You guys are more welcome to come in and chill and hang. Give me one sec here. I'm gonna throw this live stream out to the Weird World War II. What is this? Fucking Discord. Whatever it loads. My computer's been acting really weird, like really choppy. Of course, everything I have is old and shit. So it's all good though. Makes it that much more challenging to try to get shit done. My cat is going ape. Well, I shouldn't say my cat. Mel's cat is going fucking ape shit today. She's just like staring at me, whining, like meowing, like meow meow meow. I'm like, I don't know what you want, cat. I ain't got it. Whatever it is. All right. So, if anybody out there can hear me or see me, let me know if you guys can hear and see me. So, I'm continuing working on my Warlord Japanese, right? So, I finished up the gun cruise for some of the guns, right? Now I'm building the guns. Dude, those fucks at Warlord, I mean, they make a bazillion goddamn dollars, right? Their shit's so goddamn expensive. But anyway, they're making a bunch of money, but of course they don't have any fucking instructions on how to make their shit. So, I'm looking at all this stuff, and I'm like referring to it on, World War II stuff to like actually look at it. But in typical fashion, they make the product, and the pieces are the intent is there for them to fit and shit. But their damn casting of it is so like problematic that you got flash all over it on all the little bitty pieces. You got it's soft ass fucking. The thing you gotta think about this: if you're making like a support weapon, right, and it's soft metal, that's not advantageous to the fucking people trying to put it together, right? Because I mean, even if you've taken the flash off, you're bending shit, and then it's like it's just fiddly shit. Anyway, I mean, and I'm an experienced model builder, guys, and this stuff again is just shoddy ass fucking. The intent is there, okay? I give them that. I give them 100% for the intent, but the follow through, and then again, listen. If you're gonna make a fucking product that comes in pieces, I can figure it out. But if it comes in pieces, have a fucking instruction booklet or whatever, an instruction sheet with it. So folks who aren't experienced modelers can fucking build it. Come on, open your fucking eyes. It's not that hard. Just lazy fucking ass business practices. You go, Warlord, go fuck yourself. On that topic, just come on. Have a little fucking, common sense when it comes to that. Jesus. Doesn't take much to do that. But anyway, I'm ranting. Just dumbasses. So how hard is it? I mean, you obviously have artists in your employ, right, that are producing this shit or making it and drafting it, but you don't have an illustrator that can do a schematic on how to build the goddamn thing, or even a photographer. Come on. Stop being so goddamn dumb. And you'll have people are just going to let them slide. Man, listen, if you make anything that comes in pieces, right? You need an instruction like booklet for it, for the construction. Come on, that's just common sense. What if Tamaya were to make a model kit out and they don't have instructions? It's like, what the figure it out, dude. Or refer to our online. Hell, they don't even have online instruction. I went to Warlords thinking that they'll go halfway there, right? But they fucking don't. They don't have instruction pictures with the product. So she's like, "Come on, this is an open letter to Warlord. Wake the fuck up, dude. Come on. I know you got lots of plates spinning and whatever, but don't half-ass it. If you're gonna do it right. Don't be a dumb fuck." Anyway, just I mean, it seems like it's like that everywhere now, guys. It's just like they kind of get it. It's okay. It's enough. It's not quite what it needs to be, but it's good enough. Just like I stumbled across like a live feed going on right now, and it was like it was a bunch of the fucking 40K guys doing whatever, and I guess Games Workshop just came out with like some sort of update on how to make it more balanced. So I was like, what the fuck? The goddamn thing just came out, right? The rules just came out. What in God's name? Why are you guys playing a system that after how long's it been out? Fucking a couple months, a few months, 3 months, and they already got like some sort of um, update to level the fuck. What the fuck? Do you guys do any goddamn like play testing before you produce shit? Before you let it go? Seriously, I don't think. I honestly do not think that they play test. I really don't. I think a lot of companies out there do not play test. They make it look pretty. They'll produce pretty toys, and they'll just that's enough. That's enough for someone to buy our shit because it has cool toys. But the rule system's all jacked up and stupid. It's unbalanced. I mean, if you need balance, I don't fucking whatever. But it's just maddening. It's like, why do people prescribe to that shit? Deal with it. Why do you even entertain the thought of playing with a company that there's just every I don't know. Maybe that's people that play it. That's how they just assume it is like the industry. Like, no, guys, it's not. It's not. You don't have. You might have some like FAQs if there's like maybe there's a some grammar problems, or maybe they left like a fucking paragraph out or some shit. But you do not have gaming companies re-altering everything for balance. That's a fundamental flaw in the mechanics of the rule system. If it's not balanced or whatever, for whatever that fucking might be. It's like, Jesus, what is wrong with everybody? Come on. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, look, buy the toys. That's all cool. It's cool. Buy the toys. If you like their stuff, that's cool. But I know you motherfuckers don't like the rules because everybody bitches about them. And then it's like the new system comes out and everybody bitches about the new army's OP and blah blah. Why do you even prescribe to that fucking that style of like that style of company? I just don't get it. Just beyond me. But I guess I'm a simple man. I'm not gonna buy. It's like video games too, guys. Right? You have these these big companies, right? Like Bethesda or some shit like that. They'll come out with a new game, right? But it's the alpha, beta, omega version. It's not quite finished and shit. And you're buying it early and it's not done. It's like, what's wrong with you? I mean, it's not done. And listen, I've played Bethesda shit. That shit's going to be jacked up anyway. They're going to have problems with it already. That's not normal, guys. You wouldn't buy a car, right? You wouldn't buy a car that isn't quite finished and still they're working out the bugs, right? The fuck? It's just insanity. I don't get it. Stop. Ugh. I don't know. I don't understand what people are thinking. But again, that's just me. Maybe I'm the exception. But I'm not going to buy an unfinished product for anything. Even if I like it real hard. It's like buying a comic book that you love, right? But it's not quite finished. They haven't inked it or colored it. And they've only, it's in the dialogue is in the margins of the art. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, what the fuck? Would you buy a comic book like that if it wasn't finished? Oh, maybe people would. I don't get it. But anyway, I am not put on this earth to get it. little reference to one of the greatest movies ever created. And it wasn't like half done, it was actually completed. You didn't have to get an update for it. But yeah, so I'm finishing up these. I'm almost done with my entire Japanese force. Now I can't, I can only prescribe to the games that I play, but I mean, you guys, I mean, those who play 40K, do you like it? I mean, do you like it? Do you love the system? I mean, is it fun? I'm not talking about hooking up with your friends, pounding some beers, and playing a war game. But I'm talking about the actual gaming mechanics of the system. Are they great? And if they are great, have you played anything else to compare it to? Or are you just assuming that this is the only game system out there, the only mechanics out there? And because if you're liking the system just because it gets you out of the house and you get to hang with your buddies and throw dice, dude, there's a lot of other systems out there that you might enjoy getting out with your buddies, pounding some beers, and actually playing an awesome system. But again, I don't know, because I feel bad, man. I feel bad because these companies just walking on everybody. And these influencers, I mean, are they being honest with you? They're being truthful. Like Bolt Action. I think Bolt Action and I've played a lot of it. I think it's a good beer and pretzel game. You show up, you throw some dice, you kill the toys, and you're done, right? But it's not like a great system, but it's okay. It's fast and it's entertaining. Anybody can get it after like playing it once. Chain of Command's has a little bit more mechanics to it. I'm not a fan of it too much because it deals too much with that rolling, the chain of command die rolls and stuff. I think that takes away from the actual gaming of it. I think there's better mechanics to do randomness, and like activation. I think there's other mechanics that are better than that, than buying fucking more dice and having dice pools that let you activate certain shit or whatever. I think that's a whole step in the game system that isn't really necessary. You could roll for initiative, or you could, higher highest initiatives or highest leaderships on the board get to go first, or whatever. But this whole like rolling, I don't know. But yeah, it's just amazing that so many of these U40 GW players out there. It's just like there's so much issue with the system, and is that part of the hobby though? Maybe bitching and moaning and dealing with the inconsistencies and obviously the faults of the system and the mechanics of the game is enough to keep you engaged, maybe to keep it fresh, keep people talking about it, be it good or bad. Any publicity is good publicity. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's enough that you're talking about it and bitching about it. I don't know, man. I've never been really loose with my money, so I don't want to buy anything that sucks or have to upgrade or it's the book or the rules or whatever that I have are rescinded within less than a year. And how long has the new edition of 40K been out? Now, like I know that they're coming out with, aren't they coming out with a new fantasy version or something? So are they going to like stop making the new fantasy system? So everybody who jumped into that, what is any of that shit going to be usable for the new system? I don't know, man. And I think I don't know. I don't get it. I think there's a better way. Now, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Nerd, what's up, buddy? Thought I'm bitching and moaning about whatever. It's talking about 40K. I guess they released some new thing about like some updating or balanced update. Just I don't prescribe. I don't know, man. Maybe all the fucking rule systems are so like messed up that they all have to have update. So you're a BattleTech guy, right? I mean, within the BattleTech community, are they bitching and moaning about like the rules? Like, this mech is better than that mech, and it's not fair, it's unbalanced, or the mechanics are so wonky that there has to be some sort of like update. Like within like shit, 40K's only been out for the new edition's only been out for what, a few months, half a year, and it's already got some major overhaul to it. It's just like, what is the matter? So you said BattleTech kind of embraces that. Some stuff sucks. And see, I mean, okay, so there's a difference between like, this mech shoots missiles. It's a missile mech, right? But this mech, like shoots missiles and lasers. So it's a little bit better, maybe. But I mean, mechanically, like, I mean, I don't know. It just seems so strange. People and people are bitching and moaning about balance. See, I don't get that balance. Like when they mean balance, they mean like points it costs, or it's not fair that I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. See that? I mean, so like, you're talking about like, if we're talking about games that like, like a certain nation or clan or whatever has not the better equipment, right? Because they're not as technically advanced or whatever, okay? But I would think in the mechanics of the game that those nations, their stuff wouldn't cost as much, right? Because a perfect example, the Soviet Union, right, never was on par, technologically with like, the West when it came to innovation. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they have awesome shit, but not like high tech, awesome shit, right? So they can do, but they can make some decent stuff, but like a lot of them, right? So they have mass numbers because it doesn't cost as much, and they just overwhelm their opponents with numbers with lesser inferior equipment. But then you have these super tech people that are like, they got this badass armament, but it's rare. It's not as prevalent because it's so expensive. I mean, I could see the point cost running around like that. Well, and that's true. It's like, and that might be a thing. It's like Imperial Guard. Are the Imperial Guard in like these skirmish level games? Because I mean, an Imperial Guard, let's say a squad on squad, right? And again, I haven't played 40K since second edition, so I don't know what the hell's going on. And I might be just talking out of my ass because I don't know what it's like. But I watched the battle reports and I can see how the mechanics work by watching that shit. But like let's just say a squad of you have one squad of Space Marines versus one squad of Imperial Guard, right? Well, of course the Space Marines are going to fucking lacquer those guys. But are they? I mean, I don't know. I mean, tactically, if the Marines just walk down the middle of the this is what I'm talking in the mechanics of the game. If the Marines were just walking down the middle of the street, right, and the guard, had their weapons and they're in cover and they just light them up, does that mean anything? I mean, are the Marines just always going to be badass no matter what the situation is, no matter what the terrain is, no matter what the it's just I don't know. And that makes sense. Like you're talking about higher tech versus lower tech. It's not as prevalent as the lower tech stuff because it's more expensive, right? And that makes sense. Okay, so there we go. So for you to really benefit from a skirmish level for the Imperial Guard, they'd have to be elite with superior equipment and training. Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense. And more minis in the squad, yeah. Yeah, so again, it would be the lower tech would be numbers, whereas the higher tech would be like the technology and the weaponry probably, and maybe the leadership and stuff because they're so elite or something. But I'm just talking about in a mass game. It's like, do they make these? I don't know. Maybe some armies shouldn't be like shouldn't be played against other armies, because what happens is like you have a foregone conclusion, right? If you got 3 Space Marines versus 3 Imperial Guard, more than likely the Marines are going to win, just because. So I mean, I guess it's like that in the system. You have mass versus you have numbers versus toughness or skill, but I don't know. I'm thinking mechanically, it's like, why do they keep balancing shit? And what does that even mean? Do they go through the rule book and like, let's make this one cheaper, make this one more expensive because people are using this one better, or what the fuck? Where's the? I don't know. It's just everybody's bitching about it. Everybody's bitches about their system and how the rules are stupid and they should have been this instead of that and and it's changed. I'm just like, why play it? Why fucking play it if it's like just chaos? I don't get it. But yeah, so but it's like playing like let's say you're playing a World War II game, right? Well, I mean, seriously, realistically, most of the belligerents are on the same like technical level. Rifles are rifles. I mean, don't get me wrong. There might be some special things going down. The tanks. Again, the tanks. The Germans have like really thick armored tanks, but they don't have as many. But the Allies have mass produced a shit ton of tanks that make up for that. But I mean, in like games like 40K or BattleTech, is it like that, or is it just like the manipulation of the rules in the army building? It's not so much tactics or the tech. It's more, this thing costs this much in the mechanics of the game, and we have special rules that allow us to like. It's like in bolt action. There's a strange thing. It's like the British have like some superior like artillery or some shit. It's wrong. If anybody had superior artillery, it'd be the fucking Americans. Americans would have numbers on every fucking thing. Air power, fucking artillery. And then like I understand why they give special rules to armies, because it's like, hey, my army has these special rules and blah, 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 whatever. But I don't know. It doesn't work for me. I'd rather have like armies having special tech because they're a more advanced country, or their troops might have better training or something. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, like you said, each system it's designed to be imbalanced because they want you to, they want that to happen, so they can manipulate the selling of the products in that manner. And that's true. But the thing is, it's like you're talking about they have to stop making books. What keeps someone buying the shit? If everybody knows that's their strategy and their tactics, right? As a company selling a product, why do people prescribe to that? I don't fucking get it. Yeah, like so Nerd's saying that they'll have like some badass stuff that's OP and everyone goes out and buys that product, and then once they do a massive sell of whatever the new thing is, they come in the back and say, oh yeah, that's too powerful, let's just zap it, now it ain't worth a fuck. And you're just like, that's like, don't people see that? I mean, can't they see that's what's happening? Addiction. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people talking about that. Like people are talking about like game companies are taking advantage of the gamers' addictive personalities and shit like that, right? But I guess that's a thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've been gaming and I got a bunch of shit, but it's like I don't support things that don't respect me as a consumer, or I don't know. I don't know. I mean, is that a real thing? Like this addiction? It's an addiction. I mean, I can see there's a lot of collectors, that like, you know, you're a Space Marine guy and you like all the Space Marine shit, so you go out and buy all the Space Marine stuff, right? I mean, I guess there's a level of the collector, but I mean, is there an addiction? Like, I mean, maybe there is. Maybe that's part of the hobby. It's like this addictive personality or something. I don't know. And that's true. Once you throw down a huge chunk of money, right? Um, you're kind of committed, and it's like, but for you to play the game, you gotta to play with the toys that you've committed to, or yeah, even the system, I suppose. You just keep on going, and they just keep stringing you along because you've already made that initial investment, and you don't want to back down from it because you've already put some. I could see that. I mean, I don't know shit. I don't know, guys. I just I would never play a GW product because I don't trust them as a company to make a quality. And I'm not talking about their figures and shit. I mean, they make great mod. I think I think a lot of their shit is a lot of their shit is silly, cartoony. The designs of a lot of their vehicles are just ridiculous. But I mean, they're nice. They're nice models and stuff. I mean, they're well made and they look good for what they are. But as a company making rules, fuck them. There's no way they are. I mean, I watch these games and all it is special rules. It's nothing innovative at all. It's all designed. If there is a new innovation to the system, it's meant for you to buy something different, something like cards or a new dice or whatever the fuck it might be. But yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. Availability. I mean, it's just like everybody's playing that, so I have to play it, or I just like I've seen a lot of I've seen some of the people online, and they're like big fans of like a certain edition, right? And they're always like reminiscing about the old system, and they're reminiscing about fuck, just play that, buy the new toys that you like because they're cool or whatever, and just play the old system, man. I don't get it why you have to follow you have to follow the herd. I don't know. What is OPR? OPR Fantasy Army. OPR. One page rules. Okay, yeah. So that's huge, man. And I think they cashed in on the idea of like you don't need all that bullshit. You can still play with your toys, right? You can still play with the coolest toy, and you can play with the new toys that come out, right? And their mechanics are so simple that anybody can play it. Like you said, it's like a one page, and you can get a game in, with very little, issue. But I don't know. Maybe I just I see these people like bitching and moaning and like angry at this, my army is shit now because da 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 da, and it's so fair, da, da, and then I'm just like, don't play the shit. Put that fucking stress behind you and do something different. Place there are. I mean, we're like in the golden age of gaming, guys. It's like there's a million fucking rule sets out there. There's a million different, mini lines. And then that's just produced mini lines. Then you got all the STL stuff. I mean, it is like the perfect time to find something that resonates with you and you play that because there's so much out there to choose from. I mean, it's this massive machine that just will fuse to like die or change. I don't know. They are, dude. That's exactly right. They're in you got it, nerd. It's like an abusive situation, like a relationship. It's like, oh, I love him, but he beats me up. It makes me spend money, and all my shit ain't worth a fuck. And I lose money and I lose time, and lose my sanity. But I love it. I love him. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a sign of maturity, maybe, or is to move away from things and people who hurt you or take advantage of you. And I mean, and I can't speak for all the other. I was bitching and moaning about Warlord, right? Warlord has a massive catalog, and they got tons of shit. And I think most of their minis they're mediocre. They're not like supremely awesome, but their stuff is good. I mean, but like I'm putting together some field artillery for their bolt action, and there's no instructions, and it's molded in the fashion that it's so fucking fiddly, and it's so there it doesn't fit right. But that's the bane of all metal model kids. And I'm an experienced modeler. For like fucking 30 years I've been modeling, so I'm not. But the thing is like the people coming into it that don't have that experience, they have no reference on how to put the fucking thing together. So it's like, how much is it to just go that it shouldn't even be an extra step. It should be just common sense that if you build a model kit with pieces, there's a fucking instruction manual with it. But I don't know. I mean, BattleTech, that stuff is pretty blocky. It's pretty much like one piece, and it wouldn't take much to like look at the model and just go for it, because it's not really too difficult to understand it. Yeah, solid, no pieces. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe yeah, solid, no pieces. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a bitching mood, I guess, today. Well, that's good that you're getting some stuff done, man. I'm telling you, just doing these live streams have really like I've already done like, dude, I've done about 50 minis this in the last month. That is like unheard of. Now I haven't been working because I've been looking for work. So if I was working like full time, I would that would be diminished. But I'm like doing a lot, man, and it's cool because a lot of this shit is getting done, and I realize that it just doing these live feeds, like talking to you, hanging out with you, man, it's cool because it's just like it gets me, we're talking about shit, and it motivates me to keep playing and keep gaming and painting, getting this shit done. Nerd, do you have like a crew up there that you play with? Do you have like some people to play with? There's nothing worse being a war gamer and there's no way to play the war game. There's no way to war game. I've always been pretty lucky in like, well, I say that, but no one plays Weird World War II around here. Nobody. No one plays K-40. I would think most people, like, if they were gonna play it, it'd be like K-47 or something, because Warlord's kind of like, people think that's the only kind of weird war out there because it's just because Warlord's such a big brand. But I do find people to play with, which is cool. I like seeing people playing different shit, or just different people playing different shit. That don't have to be the same people playing different shit, but just it shows that there's room in the industry for a lot more shit than what most people think even exists. And I hate this argument or this statement that GW is the hobby, or some fucking narcissistic bullshit like that. My God, it's insane. Like Mantic, Mantic makes some beautiful models and stuff, right? I think their minis stuff is on par with the GW quality. But like I don't even know if they have a game system anymore. Remember they used to have the mech or the Warcraft or no the War Machine or whatever. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. But that's not Manic. That's something I don't forget. Small group. Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. Play in the break room. That'd be sweet. I had some buddies that were in the military, and when they were deployed to Iraq, they were tankers and like field like MPs. They would pull out like some game stuff to like either play or paint or something. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Find a way, man. Find a way to play. You know, to do the stuff that you love. There's a so they're mostly like coworkers or whatever. Does any of your family play? Like your wife? I assume you have a wife or whoever your partner. Um, your kids at all? Any of those guys play? I've been lucky. Mel's got burnout right now, so she's not going to be. She's kind of on hiatus when it comes to gaming with me because she just got burned out of it. But you know, she'll come around maybe. But you know, I've got some other friends that I game with, so that's cool. You know, we were all talking about that one day. We were talking about trying to like do like a get like one person a year to get into the gaming, right? I think we should do that. I think we should figure out a way to commit to that, like like a referral program where it's like, yep, I got into the gaming from nerds got me into BattleTech, and that person got their buddy into it. I think money is a big factor that keep a lot of people from uh, getting into the game, to the hobby. I think I think people see that their money could go to better things or cheaper hobbies because it's not a cheap hobby, man. Unfortunately, and I guess people say people like, oh, the starter sets are fantastic. They're cheap. Yeah, they're cheap when they come like in relation to like buying individual units or something like that. But like a person that has no experience whatsoever into a war game, is that $200 or $150 starter box, is that cheap? I don't think it is. I think $100 is expensive as fuck. And hell, board games nowadays, my god, the board games they have now, those things are fucking expensive. Expensive. My god, like $100 for a fucking board game. Jesus. Oh, they're into Magic. I mean, that's. I mean, I'm not a Magic player, but people have a good time playing that game. We give the Magic players a lot of shit, but just because like friendly rivalry. I'm in hell. That's cool. You know, getting together with your buds. Throwing down. Playing some games or whatever. I heard the Wizard of the Coast fucked that up too. They got greedy. They oversaturated the market. People and coming out with new shit constantly, and people are like, "Look, I can't keep buying this bullshit. It's ridiculous." And so people are walking away from it. And how big do these companies really have to be? I mean, they definitely ain't too big to fail. That's for damn sure. I don't know. I don't think the prices that like GW. charge warrants, or like their production costs and shit warrants the prices that they charge. But again, the market runs it. People are willing to pay it. People still pay for that level, that price. So they're going to keep charging like that. And it's like every couple months I see some guy doing a video about GW's price increase, and they'll go through the whole catalog. Like, all right, yep, this one's gone up 16%. This one's still staying, but it's going to go up next month. It's just like if you're making videos about on a regular basis about the increases of like your games, it's just like it's time to walk away from that shit, man. Try something different. I would suggest for people to write their own rules, man. That's what happened to me, man. It's like, I found a rule system I really enjoyed, and then even that was limited in like what I wanted to, do, with their mechanics. I'm like, you know what, fuck, I'm gonna just write my own shit. I'm gonna write my own rules that allow me to play how I want to play. And if like I'm playing something and something new pops up, I'll just a cool mechanic that I like that I want to introduce, I'll just fucking add it to the game. You know what I mean? Seriously, I think most gamers do not do tournaments, and I think most gamers do not go to just show up to a shop, right? And like, hey man, anybody want to play 40K? And there's a bunch of people say, yeah. It's in fact it's I know, I mean, it's my experience that most people that go up to the game shop already have their buddies, their partners in play, and they don't really need anybody to play. They don't. People just don't show up. I've done that, thinking that there'd be someone there or whatever, like a dumbass. But I think most people plan out like their gaming event. So like if you got your own system, you don't need to worry about if the damn the store is running a tournament or if there's anybody that knows how you play your game, because you've already arranged someone else to play with your game. And you can buy like those one-page rules or whatever. I mean, you can still buy the GW product, the toys, but you don't have to fuck with all the other bullshit that's involved in it. I think if people saw like that being played out, like, and saw how like it's like, wow, I can just play with my shit, still play with my shit, and I can play these rules. They're pretty damn simple. I mean, but I don't. Would they? You think they'd even do that, nerd? Do you think they would like? Do you think, or do they think that they would lose like the flavor of their game if they don't have all the special rules and all the mechanics that make it special or whatever? Do you think they would just like, well, no, I don't want to lose my, +10 invulnerable save, God knife, special rules that I have in the 40K system in favor of some sort of generic, almost everybody's, equal in mechanic. Yeah, I think you're right. I think people just want to play, or at least I think war gamers really just want to play, and everything and all the other shit is just kind of in the peripheral. I think everybody just fucking wants to play the damn game. I don't know. Now, how much would it be for GW just to give their rules for free? I mean, that would go against their business practice because they need to make the money. But I mean, how hard is it? Like, maybe that's why they did all the crackdowns, like online and using their whatever, is because maybe people were giving each other the rules. Or, fuck, I don't know. It just seems as there's a lot of like upheaval and chaos in these game systems, and it's just like, do you really need it? Don't play it. It's a fucking mess. I just wouldn't play it. I would hope people just see, like, and I'm sure they do. I'm sure stupid. Realize that why are they still fucking with them? Just madness. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a testament to, like, the cliquish nature of, the tribal nature of human, just mankind in general. It's just like we all kind of start to gravitate to our own clans and tribes, and those who don't, prescribe to what we think or do, they're the enemy or whatever. And you want to fit in and all that bullshit. I don't know. It might be. And it's like the video gamers are in the same boat, man. They're being inundated with this like systemic, system of, these companies with microtransactions and like releasing shit that's not finished, or you got to get this to get that, and, all that shit, and it's just and not finished, or you got to get this to get that, and, all that shit, and it's just, and people are duped, and they're doing it. They're doing it. They are in it 100%. They just maintain the sickness. Yeah, like, so when I played 40K, third edition came out, and I'm like, I'm not going to buy any more books. I'm not going to fucking do that anymore. And second edition turned into, like, I was a big Rogue Trader fan, and that was where 40K to me. That's what it was. And then it became, it was becoming more of like an army game, like armies game, than it was kind of like a hybrid, role playing / war game. And I guess I had the fortitude to just quit it. And I played second edition, and I played Rogue Trader for years and years, like after Rogue Trader for years and years, like after those systems were defunct. There are still people that were willing to play it, but then as the systems, more and more systems came out. People are like getting further and further away from its origin, those older systems. But yeah. So you got anything to bitch about, nerd? Anything gaming wise that peeving you at the moment? This is the place to vent, brother. It is the place to vent. Sometimes it's good just to fucking release. Sometimes it's just good enough to just get it out. Battle report the other night or last night, 40K one, because I've fucking seen everything else. Running out of games that I like to watch battle reports for. And it was like orcs and chaos, and like it was so strange because I was trying to figure it out. I guess it's like they're playing some sort of a campaign, and it looked like like if you sat on an objective, you gained points, right? But like at the end, it was like the chaos player had this like giant vehicle that was just destroying all the orcs, right? But the orcs were on like the objective, so I guess they were gaining points or something. And I'm like, and then they decided to end it because I guess the chaos guy lost his troops or some shit. And I'm just sitting and then he said, and then he made a comment saying that like, we could keep playing, but I'd table you, but you'd still win. The orcs would still win if they've been tabled. Like, is that how the game is now? It's not about like, I mean, I would think if you tabled, a fucking opponent, that you win no matter what, because the enemy is off the board. They've all been destroyed. So it's like, does that? I don't know. I don't know how the campaign rules work. So I was just kind of like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But nothing to complain about for me. If a game irks me, I'm either I'm the same way. If it's just, I think most casual gamers do that. And I say casual gamer. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I mean, do you casually game a war game? Fuck no. You casually game a video game, like a war game? Hell, nothing about wargaming is casual. Because you gotta build the shit, you gotta buy the shit, you gotta paint the shit, and you gotta like have some sort of like table to play with it. And there's nothing casual about that. Do you like movies, nerd? You into any kind of movies? I watched this week. I watched Meg 2, The Trench. It was silly. It was a fun ride, but yeah, it was pretty silly. I watched that, and I watched The Boogeyman. That was pretty fun. It's kind of the same, it's like your monster, your creature feature kind of movie. So it was good enough to enjoy. It's enjoyable. I mean, it's not nothing really remarkable about it, but it was a fun couple hours. Raptor nights for my dark elves. What's a raptor night look like? Like on the like lizards? Like on the like if I'm thinking, oh, man, I think I've who makes those? Try you mentioned is I cannot pronounce the name, the guy who does the STLs, the Japanese name. I want to say that he has some dark elfish products in his catalog. Kazuki, or man, I'm not trying to be racist. I just cannot pronounce the name, the K Man. That's what I call him. I say I'm the K Man. I want to say that maybe he has some riding a raptor. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't venture in the circles for fantasy much, like armies. But I'll keep my eye out for some cool looking raptor riders. So if anybody comes across some cool looking like dark elves on, does Reaper have some? I want to say their fantasy game had like dark elves in them, and I think they had some unique like units to it. Hmm. There's probably some STLs out there with it. Hell, probably surprised you ain't making your own. I'm sure that's a bitch to do. It's easier to buy them than to make shit. So do you think there will ever be? So I got a question for you. You knowing how to do all that stuff, right? Have you ever thought about like a company producing a software, right? That you basically just design your own minis. You know, it's kind of like the Hero Forge where they like you go in and you like here's his head and big titty torso and like long tentacle legs and whatever. Do you think there might eventually be like a program where like you can plug? So this is what I'm envisioning, right? You go into the program and you put in like what scale do you like, and you say like 32 millimeter from the foot to the top of the head. Okay. And then you'd say, then it'd be like, is this a vehicle or is this a, figure or whatever? And then they just have like all these categories, like, like you say, I want my thing to have a slim body build, right? Male and female, slim body. The armor type question mark. And you say, yeah, let's do a mesh armor with like some plate armor on chest and, whatever, and then pointed hat, pointed helmet with a nose piece, with a fucking thing of feathers hanging out, a plume of feathers hanging out. What kind of mount is this on a mount? And so like it'd be designing like a torso where it could fit over a certain. Let's say you say horses, then you have the kind of horse or whatever, and then you just like it has all these parameters, and you just plug in all these parameters, and then boom, it spits out like what you want. And it's like, all right, let's and then you can like alter their parameters, saying, okay, let's elevate the arm like it's throwing, or have it lower like it's carrying a bag or some shit like that. Do you think anything like that can happen? Yeah, Kaio Shiniku, awesome guy, by the way. There are a lot of lizardmen raptor riders, but only found a couple for Dark LR or Dark Elves. Just kind of goofy looking. Yeah, they can be. So you need a general AI to develop a bit more, but definitely in the realms of future possibility. I would think so because I mean, I've seen that artwork, that AI artwork, dude. That that stuff is pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know the particulars. I mean, like how you actually produce the artwork. I'm sure you have to plug in parameters like female, human, Asian descent, you know, black hair, whatever. But dude, I mean, from everything from like naughty pics to like vehicles and like sci-fi kind of shit, or it's pretty impressive, dude. And I see that a lot of the channels, like their title screens, you could tell it's like AI produced because it's like I watched, I watch a bunch of movie channels on the YouTube, and you can tell that the movie's called Tarantula, right, or whatever. You can tell it's like they just plugged in like parameters of like a screaming woman running away from a giant tarantula, because it's not the movie's poster, but it's definitely like an art, and it's not. This is like some small company, so I'm sure they're just paying for the AI software, and they're producing this cool fucking looking artwork, like really kind of like pulpy sci-fi. It's really cool. But yeah, my daughter, she said she had some pictures on her Facebook that were done by AI, kind of like when she was like a kid, and then like as an adult, like an adult. Dude, it was fucking amazing. It was insane how realistic it looked to her. I'm just like, is that you? Jesus. I can see people using that, nefarious ways too. I heard another big thing right now with AI is like voice, like mimicking like specific people's voice. Dude, these movie actors better watch out, because there's gonna be a time when they'll just like CGI everything. They don't need any fucking actors or voice actors. They don't need anybody. They'll just produce. The ones who are going to be making the money are the writers. And hell, even then, AI is going to be writing for them. It'll be the people who actually put in the parameters of like what they need done. Damn, that's crazy. I'm kind of excited. I mean, I could see the where it can be, damaging to someone's career or whatever. But like that's almost in every kind of technology you're going to have. It's going to it's going to change the lives of a lot of people, be it good or bad. But I think AI, it's pretty cool. Those camps are already starting, the anti AI and the pro AI, and all that's already starting to happen. Yeah. So yeah, that I think I watched like a news like program about it where some lady got a call in the middle of the night, like she thought it was from her daughter, right? But it wasn't. It was like those guys like had gotten her a voice from like a YouTube video or something that she was on, and it convinced her like, "Mom, I'm in jail. Can you send me, so much money, Western Union this, or my car broke down and I'm stuck. I need help or whatever." I'm like, "Damn, dude." I tell you, man, there are some fucking ass clowns in this world that would do that. It's just it's just evil, man. No bueno. Yeah, I mean, you could use that fucking. I've even seen it where, like, I was watching some like clip of something. It was like some animated thing, and they were using like the Avengers in it. Like, the Avengers were doing whatever, and they had their voices like down, man. Like you could tell it was probably, well, you couldn't tell that it was probably, well, you couldn't tell that it was a robot. But I mean, what they were saying was definitely not like what these actors would be saying, you know, or it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be official in any way. But I'm just like, shit. Now people can just mimic your voice and just have you say whatever the fuck you want, and mimic your face and your body and all that shit. That's crazy. Crazy. But I'm sure there'll be, eventually, there needs to be some sort of oversight so things like that don't happen. But again, I'm not a big government guy, but I mean, I'm not a fool either. I mean, there needs to be some sort of like where you can't just, you know, go bonkers and fucking use that kind of shit. There needs to be laws like, saying that you cannot mimic someone else's voice or appearance without their okay or whatever it might be. That's reasonable, protections for everybody. But again, I don't know. I don't know how far it's going to get. I'm sure someone's always gonna take it, further than it was meant to be, and be good or bad. And I mean, that's healthy to a degree. People thinking outside the box, coming up with new ways to use things. But again, if you're going to use someone's likeness, you should at least get their permission. If not, reimburse them or whatever. Me saying that, I'm using like artwork for some fucking dude I don't even know. Hypocrite. I'm surprised, like, like someone like GW or something coming out, like someone did like some, like, they painted their minis like really, really bad, and they showed them off online and like it was putting GW in a bad light because the minis were painted so shitty or something. You watch, that shit'll happen, dude. There'll be some point where, let's say, like, I get like this badass GW mini, right? And I paint it like ass, like complete ass. I get it out there somehow and it becomes like, it becomes, like, um, or even I alter it. Let's say it's like a Primark or something, right? And I alter it and I make it look a certain way, and then I paint it a certain way, like that besmirches the intent of the figure or some shit, and it gives it a bad light or something, and GW fires back with some sort of like cease and desist. You can't alter our products and then display them because it's not a true representation or some shit. I could see that fucking happening someday. How lawyer heavy those fucks are. So you got anything planned this weekend, dude? Anything exciting? I don't really have anything going down. I might get a game in with Omen, see if what he's up to. Maybe we can play. He's a big board game guy, so maybe we'll do a board game that he likes or something. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, I'm hammering down these damn figures, dude. I'm impressed with myself. Just like I've just yeah. Do you go through that? Do you go through cycles where like you don't do shit for like months or fucking years, and then all of a sudden you have this like just you're in the zone. Oh, right on. Lawn work. Shit, my lawn is dead, dude. I rent, so like the lawn's dead. I'm like, yeah, because it's not even you can't even mow it, man. Dude, the soil around here, like in my yard, I'm not lying. It's it's cracked because it's completely devoid of moisture. We're talking like the cracks are like 2 or 3 inches wide, dude, and it's deep. And it's like it is like I honestly have never seen it this fucking dry in probably in my adulthood. It is crazy. Yeah, dude, isn't that cool? You're just like it's like that. It's secular. It's like I guess it's like anything. You get into something really hardcore and you kind of you expend that energy from it, and then you're like, I'm gonna go do something else. then hopefully you get back to it. It's cool. I'll be done with like all of my Japanese, dude. I mean that's like that's impressive. I I've had these well man, I've had this Japanese army for about a couple of years maybe. I mean, and most of it's painted already. I usually paint what I have to have, like what I need for a game. So playing games regularly, that'll keep me like painting and doing shit. Because if I was just like buying armies just to